Thank you. Yes, I think I miss only the real first GPD that was more a meeting than a GPD. All the other I have the opportunity and to participate, and in every CPD we, as institute, present some papers elaborated by our annual works on double glazing, so on and so on and so on. Well, today I will speak about, let me try to joke with this one, okay, about surface compression, comparative measurement on tempered glass with different instruments. Why we try to make this comparison? Why? The reason is very simple. The European standard don't give any value of surface compression as reference. They only say use this method to compare your initial type test, fragmentation and bending, and keep this value as reference during your production. So it was less or more an internal deal. If you look to the ISO standard as well, the ASTM standard, they fix value. And mostly of this value was based on the old instrument, the old two instruments, mostly on Laser Gasp. And they have for ASTM 69 for ISO. We have done a lot of work about that. There is another reason. So when you have number, you must be sure that the instrument that you use that are on the market, and now Scalp is very strongly on the market, match each other. Otherwise, if it's an internal comparison, no problem. But when you have number in the standard, you have to be sure that the instrument have the same result. There is another reason, and the other reason is that sometimes you can use one instrument, or you need to use the other instrument, or this for the surface that you have to test, and so on and so on. As well, sometimes you're called, or we are called as institute, to make some expertise in situ. And in a lot of cases in situ, you can measure only one side, and you know that the Laser Gasp takes the measurement only on thin side, and thin side is not always available. For example, in laminated glass, for example, in facade. So there is also some practical issue that the instrument, the Scalp, is more, you can adapt more to this kind of measurement in situ. And when you make expertise, you have to give number to see yes or no, yes or no. In our previous work in 2017, we tried to suggest some value, 9, 90, 95, 100 at least, as limit value. And I believe that, like for anisotropy, less or more, we will have this value also in the European standard. Well, so for all this reason, we need to know if this instrument match each other. And so, there is another mistake I want to show in the title. Here we speak about tempered glass. Indeed, the work was thinking for tempered glass, then we had also its strength glass, but we don't ever know the time to change the title that was just on the files. But I see that a lot of people make this, instead to use its strength glass, they speak about heat treated glass, they speak about tempered glass. So The aim, as I told you, was to compare the result of the two instruments, and we take only the test done in 2018. We focus only on the test year in which the two instruments were used together. That means that when we receive sample from a producer that wants to do the initial type test, TT, we don't measure only with one, but we measure with both. And then we try to define a correlation between the surface compression to the fragmentation and the surface compression regarding the flexural bending. Okay, the specimen were tested according the standard 12150, 1863, and then the bending 12883. Okay, the two instruments are this one. You will know, Strainoptics GASP Polarimeter. Scatter. I would like to know to tell you that we was the first one to introduce both this instrument in the Italian market, to propose to the Italian producer to use to control their factory production control. You know that the Laser Gasp measure only the surface compression on the thin side, while the other one measure on both the sides. Okay. The stress evaluation is based on a conversion table on a calculation by PC. Then there is another question. Sometimes we have an asymmetric stress induced by thermal process. And this can depend from heating or cooling. During the temporary process, the convention also play a crucial role, as you know, for the introduction of the low A glass. And sometimes we have we can have asymmetrical stress that can be induced by the thermal process for the presence of a phase with low emissivity, incorrect process execution, that can involve an asymmetrical cooling velocity due to heating or cooling as well, because what is important is the cooling velocity. And we ask to ourselves, it's possible to measure non-homogeneous stress between the two phases if we have. This is the second part of the work that we have tried to do. Okay, this is the test material that we use. There was around 400 specimens. Mostly are tempered glass, mostly are coated, uncoated. And when it's right, float is not correct, but it should be uncoated float. The coated is with coat of type A, with emissivity between 17, around 70 sample, around 0.89, while the heat strengths are lower, less, and the coated part was with a very low emissivity. These are the samples that we receive in this year and that we use to make the comparison. So we don't produce sample, but we use the one that we receive for the sample. So the sampling is not very complete. But anyway, the surface compression was done in 5 points. One side for the scalp, both the sides in the same point for the for the laser, and both the side for the scalp. And at least this is the the correlation. And you see that with the scalp, the correlation between the two sides on tempered glass is a very good curve. That means that at least if you measure inside or thin side, we have the same value. This is a very good correlation, and we have the same for its psoas, its strength. It's a little bit less, but this also depends from the small number of samples that you can. But anyway, 0.76 is reasonable with this time of question. Now we go to see Scalp versus Laser Gasp for uncoated, and you see that the measurement of Scalp and Laser Gasp fit with 0.75. So we can say that we are in a good correlation between the two instruments, as well for the heat strength glass. But again, the problem is a little bit that we have small number of samples. Then we go to see what happened with coated glass, okay? And you see that in the thin side, you see that the correlation between the two instruments is again good, and at least better for the its strength glass. So we can say that you can use one or the other one, less or more. It's the same. This is the real aim. When we go to the Scalp thin versus air, okay, and you see that for the coated glass, it works when the coat is with high emissivity, pyrolytic coat, just to be clear. When you go on low emissivity, that is confirmed by the people that invented the Scalp, it doesn't work very well. We have very, very high value of the measured surface compression. So there is a but normally this kind of coated are faced on the internal side of double glazing, if you have to measure on situ. So anyway, you cannot measure if you have to make an expertise. But I know that my friend are working to elaborate a bit. But now we go to look to the correlation between the instruments and the fragmentation, and we see that we have also here a good relation between the fragment number, that is 40, the limit, and the 3 instruments, and the value measured with the instrument. For the heat strength glass, it's not possible to make correlation with the number of the fragment, but the correlation will be done with if pass or no. At the end of the history, we can say that the limit value, the very limited value, to have conformity with the 3 instruments with thermally toughened glass is 86, 88, 86. Okay? Indeed, I'm not sure that these values are very in the safety area. In the previous work, we proposed to stay always over 19, but okay, it's nothing, isn't true. And for coated glass, we also propose to stay over 95 for certain kind, but it's not the case here to speak about what. Or it's strength glass, we say that all the samples that we test stay in that range, okay? That don't mean that you cannot go have conformity at lower or higher. It means that the sample that we have and we measure have this value and are conform to the requirements. Okay. Okay, and these are the correlation with the bending test according 12883, and you see that the square here is 08680, 067, 066. So they fit very, very well each other. And this is the limit value to have the minimum conformity. Okay? But we don't suggest to use this value. To be sure, we suggest to stay more than 19. Okay, we have tried to make some asymmetrical glass. That means you see the blow, how it is. This is the glass and the stride. We do that in a furnace. And these are the dimensions of the sample. Sometimes they was not measured due to a lot of problem when you make this work during production. It's not always easy to take the sample and measure for problem. And we see that the overall bow that we was able to create, we arrived till 19 millimeter. That is not, and you see that we have some difference between thin and air with scalp, okay? In the two surface, but in most of the case, we don't appreciate a lot of difference, especially with small bow. And my friend from of Laser Gasp of scalp production, they say it's clear. Why? Because when also it is curved, the two surfaces should be in equilibrium, so it's not so easy. But sometimes we see that we have at least 10, 15 degrees of difference. That is something appreciable. But you see the value of the bow is very different, okay? And you see here again someone, but we have some difference. So the conclusion is, that the correlation between the two instruments proved to be satisfactory, considering the different side verified for the types of glass test. Considering the TT specimen, the SG surface compression limit value to have a good compliance with the fragmentation is about 19, depending from the glass type, and for the mechanical resistor it is about 85. And for the its strengths, the range that we measure on the sample that we have, and I want to repeat that this don't mean that you cannot have conformity with different value, are between 2935 and the maximum is 5455, and for the minimum value of fracture is 30 megapascal. So all these values are in good accordance with our previous paper, and the attempt to produce gas specimen with different surface compression between the two sides, forcing the production parameter gives value with different, not too high despite the very high overall bowl. Finish. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mognato. Thank you
Mognato.
for
Mognato.
Mognato. Mognato.
Yes. It's
okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry, Mognato. Yeah, GN. Okay. Any questions from the audience to this presentation?
Okay.
There's one. But wait a second for the microphone, please.
Yeah, when you measured the using the new instrument for both sides,
Yeah.
and you found for the overall bow,
Yeah.
did you check the center tension and see if it was off center, and that's what gave you the differences? Did you?
You think that if it is in the center or on the side?
Center may be off center.
Yeah. No, the value that we put there is the medium value.
Okay.
The medium value.
Yeah.
The medium value.
Okay. One more question? There's one in the back.
True. Mamma mia.
Well done.
I have make a lot of mistakes.
Just with the coated glass, the scalp cannot measure right also on the uncoated side, or is it just the coated side that is?
The coated side, only the coated. The other side works.
The other side works, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, you have to take care about some reflection, but
as these measurement devices always measure in a certain direction, did you make multiple measurements to check the maximum direction?
I know the ASTM.
Select one for.
Yes, I know. The ASTM say that you have to measure x, y, and zeta, and if the difference should be not more than 1 degree with the laser gasp. Of course. No.
Did you select one reference direction, or did you really make the?
No, we make the three direction, okay, and they never differ more than 1 degree. It's clear. Otherwise, it means you have another kind of problem.
Any more questions?
The last one was very deep, eh? The last one
Yes.
question was very deep, eh?
So, thank you then, and another applause for Mr. Mognato.
Thank you.
Hi there. Did you like what you just saw? If you did, why not like the video? Drop us a comment below, as well as share the video with others, since GPD is all about sharing. And to receive more videos in future, subscribe and don't forget to click the bell icon for notifications. Ciao.